If you're a little bit like me, you might have given Guild Wars 2 a shot back in the fall of 2012 and decided, hey, beautiful game, but not for me. I took a shot on a second impression during the spring of 2014 and drew the same conclusion. I've often said Guild Wars 2 is the best MMO no one ever plays, but in the immortal words of Batman, we're talking Michael Keaton's Batman, I think this perfectly describes the future of Guild Wars 2. Things change.
You don't really think you'll win, do you? Things change.
Meow.
Sorry, but I just couldn't edit out Catwoman's epic entrance in that scene. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't edit it. It's just too epic. However, there is a little bit of relevance for including her. NCSoft owns both ArenaNet and Carbine Studios, the entities who produce Guild Wars 2 and WildStar, respectively. NCSoft is the puppeteer, holding the strings, pulling the strings, doing the show of the ongoing improvements with Guild Wars 2 and the recent move to make Guild Wars 2 free to play. Same thing is happening at WildStar. Not a coincidence, and big changes are going on there too. And I may or may not produce a video much like this one on WildStar, depending on how this video does and depending if the changes are pretty darn good in WildStar. And now, 10 reasons why you should give Guild Wars 2 a fair shot, and why not. The core game is free to play that is, and all you're gonna do is lose time. That's it. Now, the 10 reasons are not listed in any particular order. I'll leave that up for you to decide, and certainly leave it in the comments what you find most appealing, what you find kind of not really that much of a big deal, and what you think has a lot of potential. You can skip through to any given point of interest by clicking the links in the description. I have each of the 10 reasons in a link. You can click right to them if you want to. Number 10, coming very soon. Rating is coming to Heart of Thorns, the next xpac of Guild Wars 2. Get psyched! Get psyched for rating! I really don't give a shit, but gotta say, the average MMO player loves to raid, whether they're playing World of Warcraft, SWTOR, Final Fantasy, WildStar, doesn't matter, people love to raid. And the biggest knock on Guild Wars 2 when the game first came out, late summer 2012, early fall, the biggest knock on the game, people are like, the game has no end game. This sucks. I hate this game. There's no end game. There's just no end game. Listen, people. There was an end game. There was something to do, but the problem was it wasn't very progressive, it wasn't very structured, and you kind of needed a compass and a map to figure out where to go and what to do. But things change. Said it before, I'm not a raider. It's not my thing. I don't like it. It's not that it's bad. Some people like chocolate, some people like vanilla. Hey, I like strawberry. Here's the point though. I really am curious how they're gonna make this work, because Guild Wars 2 doesn't embrace the traditional trinity of defined roles. You over there, you're the tank. Guys over there with the bandage, you are healers. The EP quartet, you guys are the DPS. That's the way all raids work. It doesn't work that way in Guild Wars 2. Everybody's responsible for their own defenses, healing, DPS, and aggro. I'm curious how they're going to make raiding work, but here's something I found very, very interesting. And I think this particular fact will demonstrate how much ArenaNet cares about Guild Wars 2, how attentive they are to Guild Wars 2, and how proactive. Since its release in 2012, August or early September, around that time, 3 years, 40 patches. No sub-V. World of Warcraft, in that same 3-year time span, take a guess how many patches they came out with? 12. And they charge a sub fee. Those numbers, from a business standpoint, should be reversed, but they're not. That's interesting. That means ArenaNet cares. That means they're attentive to their game. That means they want to make their game work. So even if the rating sucks, don't worry, ArenaNet will fix it. ArenaNet went on record and promised the raids will be challenging, unpredictable, and rapidly forthcoming in patches. And when a company releases 40 patches over a 3-year time span, I think they care about the content. I think they're going to keep the content updated. Better yet, one of the things I've always hated about raiding is we can't raid, we gotta wait like an hour to go find a new tank, or we gotta wait 45 minutes to find another healer because this guy has to walk his dog. The point is, you don't have to worry about that, and you don't have to worry about loot dropping. It's all about the fun. It's all about beating the boss. It's all about coordination. It's all about saying, hey, I beat that boss. I beat that boss. Because it's fun. Trust me on this, guys. Trust me. I hate raiding. But I'm going to give Guild Wars 2 raiding a shot. That says it all right there. There are a lot of traditional as well as innovative and fun ways to gain XP and level up in Guild Wars 2. Quests. You're not going to find an MMO without quests. It's like finding a hockey game without ice. Yes, I know it's called Girls Field Hockey, but you get the point. But the quests are interesting because there are usually 2 or 3 different tasks that you can perform to get a quest done. It's up to you. And the interesting thing is dynamic events, which are kind of like random quests, just randomly pop out in the world, usually work in sync with the quest you're doing. So if you're a guy leveling up and a random quest pops up, chances are that quest in that area is going to give you the same experience for the quest that you're currently doing. So it's like double experience for doing the same thing. It's awesome. Another way to earn experience in Guild Wars 2 is follow your personal storyline. This is like an RPG in an MMORPG. It's pretty darn cool. Quite as cool as SWTOR, but in the same league, in the same ballpark. World events. I already said that already. World bosses. World bosses just sprout out everywhere. And even if you're level 10, level 20, you could kill a world boss. Granted, you're going to need an airstrike and something and a lot of help. But the point is you can participate and get some pretty lucrative loot. Discovery. Find Vistas. Find points of interest. Find hero points. And all that means you do all the quests in a particular zone and you complete the zone objectives. Completing the zone objectives is another way to earn XP in game. How cool is that? Gathering. You could gather ore, herbs, or wood. It's not like you got to choose one of the 3, 2 of the 3. You can do all 3. It doesn't matter. You could use them to craft stuff. Crafting gives you experience in game. You could use the items that you make. You could send them to other tombs. You could sell them on the auction house, or you could salvage them and break down the mats and sell the mats, or use the mats to make other stuff and gain more experience. It's too good to be true. World versus world PvP. Love world PvP? Guess what? You could get experience for it. Granted, if you're low level, you might not be able to contribute so much, but if it's something you enjoy doing, hey, why not earn the XP? Regular PvP, you can get a little bit of experience as well. Food buffs. They give you anywhere from 10 to 15% extra experience for kills. You could buy them on the auction house. If you have cooking, you can make them yourself. And in-game, they give you perks every now and then for different things. They're called Tombs of Knowledge. Gives you an entire level of experience. So you're level 43, ding, level 44. And they give you writs of experience, which probably is about a 5% experience boost. Many ways to earn experience, never the same, never dull. Guild Wars 2 is a true MMO. When you talk true MMO, you're talking social, social, social. A lot of MMOs have moved away from that element, whether directly or indirectly, and it's not necessarily a good thing. You've got to stay within your genre. If you're a lion, you eat meat. You don't order a salad. That's just the way it is. One thing, well, this is true with a lot of MMOs, but Guild Wars 2, the kills are shared. So if you're questing and somebody else is questing in the area and they get a kill, as long as you do some damage on the kill, you will get credit for it too. The game will automatically invite you to a more populous server. Not to say the servers aren't populous, but some servers might not be very crowded in a certain time of day, whether it be late at night, early morning, but other servers are crowded. They'll ask you, hey, do you want to go over to that other server where you could kill more world bosses and participate in more dynamic world events? The answer is yes. If you just want to continue your quest, then probably the answer is no. Guild halls. Basically, guild housing is coming to Guild Wars 2. We'll see how this works, but it looks really, really interesting and very detailed and very intricate. So more on that upon the release of Heart of Thorns. There's zone scaling, which doesn't make any content in the game irrelevant. If you're level 80 and you leveled up as a Norn and suddenly you decide, hey, you know what, I want to go to a lower level zone and grind out all the quests so I could get some perks, well, you could do that, and you'll do it at the appropriate level. You'll be downscaled. That's a really cool thing because it encourages people to get out there in the world. There are many, many world bosses, and those raids are flexible. It's not like, okay, you're the 12th guy, you can't come, or you're the 11th guy, you can't come. No. If there's 40, there's 40. If there's 10, there's 10. That's just the way it works. That's a great thing. Max level players are convinced to help out lower level toons, which is really, really cool because they can downscale. Like I said, if you leveled as a Norn and you want to do the Sylvari zones, yes, there's a benefit to you, and you'll downsize, and yeah, you'll probably stomp through all the content, but you get some benefits and some rewards, and you can help a guildie out on those occasions. And the last thing I want to say, Guild Wars 2 is the Canadians of MMO. Canadians are great people. They're friendly, they're fun, and they're just nice people. They really are. You never hear of any serial killer Canadians. They're just really cool people. And Guild Wars 2 has that kind of community. Compared to, say, LoL or World of Warcraft or COD, just great people. The Canadians of MMOs. I want to talk about a very underrated quality that Guild Wars 2 offers in abundance, and that is accessibility. If you're a low-level toon, guess what? You could probably get yourself out there and have access to a lot of parts of the game. Even the free-to-play version of the game gives you more than any other free-to-play version of the game. It's a hell of a lot. And it's also very easy to get from one point to another in-game, as long as you've discovered the waypoints, which makes the whole map very, very quick to get to a particular point and very accessible. Accessible. There's zone scaling where you downtick to a lower level, like you see here. I'm in a level 45 zone, and I'm level 80. I got downticked to 45, so the content is somewhat relevant for me. Plus, in PvP, you're upticked, which means if you're level 45, you're upticked to 80, and you can participate in PvP because the gear is basically normalized, and it helps with the queue times, which I haven't seen be more than 2 minutes. Everything in-game is account-bound and account-based. My Revenant has access to the same bank that my Ranger does, and my Thief does, and every single toon that I have does. All the gold is account-bound. I would say a solid 75% of the gear you pick up is not soulbound, which means if you find something that's a lower level and you want to pass it on to another toon, it's a good piece of gear, you can do that. It's very, very simple. Very, very accessible. Even as I'm finding mats and grinding things in game, I could just deposit it from wherever I am into my bank. I don't have to worry about the bag space. It's pretty damn amazing. Makes things very accessible. You could, like I said before, you could travel anywhere in this world. It's very easy to travel from here to there as long as you've discovered the waypoints. And let me tell you, it's pretty damn cool to be able to avoid flight paths that take 5 or 10 minutes, etc., etc. Here's what I think is a great underrated quality too. Let's say you've been PvPing and you find a competitive group of guys that seem to be skilled and seem to be dedicated to PvP, but they're on a different server. You don't have to spend money to transfer there. There's certain limited access that you could get to be transferred to a different server for free, and you could be part of their guild. This is something in World of Warcraft that's been a thorn in my side for a very long time. Having people leave the game and then look for another guild, and okay, well, this guild is on ABC server and I'm on XYZ server. I gotta spend money to transfer over. It sucks. It's ridiculous. This is underrated. This is not the case with Guild Wars 2. Let me talk about animations. I could go on for hours. I'm going to keep this short. The animations of each profession are truly motion capture 3D brushstrokes of amazement, genius, just pure artistry. The animations separate the professions from each other more so than the abilities. They really do. Most of what a hunter can do, a thief can do. Most of what a thief can do, a warrior can do. But the animations still make them unique, and so does the playstyle. There are a hell of a lot of toys in your bat utility belt that you can pick and choose based on what you're doing and who you're fighting in game. Some professions, obviously, are more bursty in damage than others. Some offer more sustained damage. Some are highly mobile. Some are amazingly, almost to the point of being OP, guardians, defensive. And you also have some classes, or that's my WoW coming out classes, some professions that are healing in nature. So a bit of diversity based on playstyle and animations more so than abilities. The new xpac, Heart of Thorns, will also deliver new elite specializations for each profession. So for example, a ranger can have a playstyle of a druid. Very, very cool. A warrior can have the playstyle of a berserker. A thief can have the playstyle of a daredevil, and they bring in new abilities, new animations, and kind of revolutionize the class. And what I really think is cool, a necromancer as a reaper with the big reaper blade that, you know, kind of rakes in, you know, I don't even know what they do, but you know what it looks like, and you know what I'm talking about. All this translates into visually stunning, immersive, and insanely fun playstyle. Customization. Guild Wars 2 wrote the book. Creating a character can take hours. You can agonize over eye color, hairstyle, armor dyes, etc., etc. You could literally spend hours trying to figure this out. This isn't unique to Guild Wars 2. A lot of newer MMOs have tremendous customization for your characters. I think Guild Wars 2 takes it a step further. They have a makeover kit that you could buy for 350 gems, which is less than $5. Okay? It's not a lot of money. And for that makeover kit, you could change a few things, but it's almost like changing the entire look of your character. They give you different body types, different face looks, different hairstyles, eye color, and hair color, all of which are exclusive, and it makes you feel like that special little snowflake. Hey, everybody wants to feel like that. And the cool thing about this, you could buy it for your char, and you could preview it and decide, no, I don't want to use it on the char. I'm going to use it on my Norn. No, I don't want to use it on my Norn. After you previewed it there, you could do the same thing for humans and constantly transfer it along before you make a commitment. How cool is that? The personal storyline is amazing. You make the choices of how you want things to play out, sort of, and then as you progress in-game along the storyline, you have branches, choices, A, B, or C, A or B, and it brings you down different paths, different roads, never makes things the same. And it's really, really engaging and very immersive and a lot of fun and a very strong RPG aspect. Dies, you can acquire them in game as rewards. You could buy them at the auction house for a couple of silver, some of them cost a couple of gold. It's not that much money. Or you could buy them in the gem store. Very accessible, have many different dyes. I don't even know how many colors there are. I can't count that high. I've never counted that high in my life. There's tremendous amount of customization with the colors of your armor, even outfits. Outfits mean no transmute charges. If you're level 40 and you find new gear, you don't have to worry about retransmuting it. The outfit overlays it, and most outfits work on all classes. So if you buy them in a store, you get them in game, they're accessible to everyone, which is awesome. The whole game is basically one big sandbox where people don't throw sand in each other's face, basically. Like I said, Canadians of MMOs. Nothing is forced in game. You're not forced to do PvP in order to get stuff to kill dragons. You don't have to kill dragons in order to be, viable in PvP. They let you do what you want to do. It's really, really awesome in that respect. And the characters that you play, their whole builds are highly, highly customizational. You can, that's not even a word, but Guild Wars 2 makes it a word because it's so unique. There are specializations you could choose. There are elite skills that you could choose, utility skills that you could choose, and each toon has different weapons that they could use, and each of those weapons gives you different abilities. So many choices. I'm a guy who loves choices in RPGs and MMOs, and that's why this hype is not fake. This is pure excitement because it's real. Graphics. If you think WoW's graphics are cartoony in nature, kind of like finger paints with a little bit of charm, Guild Wars 2's graphics are Picasso, imaginative and breathtaking. There are 5 major cities, one for each particular race, and the world capital, Lion's Ark, which they had the balls to blow up and rebuild. And they got it done. Meanwhile, Stormwind, after 5 years, still isn't rebuilt. But that's municipalities for you. We're not going to get into that. But the point is, each of these cities exhibits a very different personality, style, architecture, and mood. You really feel like you're in a different part of the world, and that is amazing. Throughout the entire world, there are these panoramic motion capture kind of snapshots, which you call vistas. You discover them, and it just is about a 15 to 20 second picturesque, beautiful panoramic view of that particular area in that particular zone. I mean, Guild Wars 2 did this to show off what they did. Hey, I cooked a great meal, give me the accolades. Or, hey, look at this, look what I did in art, put it on a refrigerator. Yeah, that's why they're there. Okay, but rightfully so. They did a tremendous job with the artistry here, and it deserves to be showcased. It truly does, and it doesn't go lost by the player base. You want to discover these vistas, they give you experience, not experience for your character, but just a nice experience to be able to view them. It's pretty damn amazing, and you get credit for objectives by discovering these vistas in each particular zone. So this makes Guild Wars 2 pretty unique, pretty damn cool as far as the graphics are concerned. It's brushstroke artistry. The art is amazing, and the execution of the art with the graphics is even that much more amazing. Check it out. It's just free. Take a look. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's the first thing that will hit you in game. The bottom line, I could have taken a 35-minute video and made it 5 seconds value. What it comes down to is value. Buy to play happens to be my favorite business model for any video game, but the bottom line is Guild Wars 2 is now free. So that's value in its own right, and it has limitations, but not limitations that you might think. It's limitations that just make sense so people don't abuse it by having multiple accounts to grind stuff. So yeah, one of the better free-to-play business models I've ever seen. And if you want to talk about value, let me talk about the last 3 years. If you wanted to play Guild Wars 2 over the last 3 years, $40, you can play it all you want. World of Warcraft, by comparison, between buying the xpacs, of which there were 2, and paying the sub fee, $660 to play. Guild Wars 2, 40 content patches. World of Warcraft, 12 content patches. No doubt, Guild Wars 2 is 10 times cheaper than WoW and offers 10 times more. Hence, value. Value, value, value. The core game, like I said, free to play. All you have to do, is invest some time, give it a fair shot, and it's awesome. If you like it, you step up, you buy the new xpac Heart of Thorns, you have access to guild halls, elite specializations, rating, the new BG, which I tested and have a video coming up on, which is amazing. So it's all up to you. Try it, kick in the tires, give it the litmus test. And Gw2 is run by a very unique company, ArenaNet. They're very proactive. They care about the game. They address issues in game. I've been involved with this game since September 2012. Never really gave it a fair shot, but the point is they've addressed a lot of the issues in game over that 3-year time span and continuously do so. The fact that they've introduced a game without the trinity of healer, DPS, and tank, and have a lot of innovative thinking, have a sandbox mentality when it comes to questing and stuff, proves that they're innovative, proves that they're concerned, and proves that they're progressive and very, very proactive at fixing the game. Perks and rewards. One of the cooler and more unique aspects of Gw2 are the rewards you receive for the big things you do and a lot of the little things you do in game. It's kind of like going door to door on Halloween, knocking on the door. Sometimes you get candy, sometimes they surprise you, give you something a little better than expected. Here's a stocking stuffer present. Pretty cool. About 90% of what can be purchased in the in-game store for gems can be purchased for gold by simply grinding the gold and transferring the gold into gems, which makes a lot of things accessible, which I think is very important and very cool. There are rewards for logging in daily. There are rewards for logging in monthly. Useful things they give you, not stuff you can't use. I mean, for example, they'll give you currency like laurels or karma. Well, karma is more so for like events and quests that you do. They also give you XP boosts, which are writs, tombs of knowledge, and food buffs. Here you go. Little extra boost, get you along the way. They give you convenience perks, which are extra bank slots, extra bag space, access to the trade post, access to your bank from out there in the wilderness in the world. Pretty awesome. They give you free repair canisters. You gain damage, and as you gain damage, you lose that fight to survive at the end, which I'll cover in a video one day, but pretty cool. You get these canisters to repair yourself. You get XMU charges, you get dyes, you get crafting mats, you get gear upgrades, you get gear, you get damage boosts, you get speed boosts, all kinds of stuff. Achievements give you rewards, and gems even are part of the rewards at higher levels for higher achievements. You get PvP track rewards as you move from tier to tier to tier, which I'll talk about in the PvP section. Every time you level up, you get a perk, you get a piece of candy. It's amazing. Hero points, which are used for track specialization, utility skills, and elite skills. You accumulate those as rewards out there and just for leveling up. There's also daily objective rewards. Achieve the dailies, and guess what? You get rewards, and they give you a choice of achieving 3 of 5 different dailies. It's a great system, a very fair system. World versus world PvP, or more technically, world versus world versus world PvP. First, I want to highlight the primary differences between 2 different kinds of PvP in Gw2. If you're looking for PvP where the gear is normalized, meaning everyone's gear is equal, the gameplay is reasonably fair and balanced, structured PvP is the place for you. That's your home. If you're looking for PvP where the gear provides you with a noticeable edge, and you want to flex your EP and pawn some noobs, unstructured PvP, or world v world v world PvP is a place for you. Before I go into anything about world versus world PvP, I want to highlight a few things about the structured PvP. Structured PvP can be broken down into 2 different categories, ranked and unranked arena. Arena meaning BGs if you play WoW. Best comparison of the 2, arena and skirmishes in WoW respectively. Your participation and win percentage in both structured and unstructured gameplay or arena will progress you forward on a tier by tier based reward path where you get in-game rewards that are pretty damn useful. Both ranked and unranked arena will progress you on your reward path. However, this is kind of strange, but this is the truth. You're going to progress a lot faster by participating in unranked arena because ranked arena does not advance you on your path based on mere participation. So if you just show up in ranked arena and you lose and lose and lose, you're going to progress on your path. Not the case with ranked arena. However, ranked arena is a lot more focused on team coordination and win percentage. It's a place for the best of the best. And if you're looking for a very progression-based arena where progression of skill and competitive rank are key factors, ranked arena is most definitely the place for you. So in short, unranked arena is more about the spoils, and ranked arena is more about prestige. Overall, your performance in structured PvP is based on the game's current meta, your specializations, your utility skills, elite skills, and weapons of choice. Keyword choice. You could choose them all as you wish before you enter the match. World v World PvP is an altogether unique experience, and one of the main things that makes Gw2 worth a shot. You can run around with exotic gear, which is pretty damn good, or ascended gear, which is the BIS gear in game. And you could run around, flex your EP into your heart's delight, pawn noobs like crazy. Of course, there's a possibility you're on the wrong side of a 1v4 or a 1v5, but that's kind of like world PvP in general. This is almost impossible to balance. Therefore, balance is a foreign word to world versus world PvP. And gear is not normalized, like I just said. This is a very unique experience in Guild Wars 2, and you can even level up entirely in this experience. As a lower level, you'll get bumped up, but you're not going to be able to contribute much, but you can participate, and if you're having fun participating, that's what's important. World v World PvP is actual warfare. Each side possesses a handful of commanders. When you step in, what you're going to do, you're going to queue as part of their squad, and they're going to coordinate your attacks and give you assignments, either to gather resources, defend strategic points, attack strategic points, or just generally disrupt the other team's advances. You have to gather resources, you have to protect your supply lines, and the reason you gather your resources is to fortify your defenses, which could be made out of wood, which could be made out of stone, or even made out of steel, iron, amazing. You could get how it's getting progressively stronger. This is actual warfare is the best way to describe it, and something that Guild Wars 2 gets right. Asheran, the biggest debacle in WoW's history, was Blizzard trying to copy World v World PvP from Guild Wars 2, and they screwed it up because they didn't have the game engine to do it, and this wasn't Blizzard's expertise. This is Guild Wars 2's expertise and one of the better parts of the game.